Okay, so this is my project on Shintoism, and so Materasu is the sun god. She is one of the leading gods and one of the main gods in Shinto, well, if not the main one. Everyone almost worships her, and her brother is Susanoo, who is the god of underworld, tricksters, and the sea. He is ruling. He's depicted as crazy and mad. He has slain multiple monsters and found famous swords, but how he became the god of underworld too is he got in a big fight with his sister Amaterasu, and she banished him to the underworld. So Uzume is the god of dawn, and Iwata no Kami is the god of war. He originally was an agricultural deity, but he was the guardian of the Momoto clan, and later on that led him to become the god of war. So Anario Kami is the god of fertility and rice. She uses foxes as her messengers, and they are her symbol animal. And Kuni no Tachi and Amanemo ni Nakunashu are the first two gods that arose from the chaos. They have no gender, and they made Azanagi and Izanami, which are brother and sister, who later became wife and husband. And Izanami was the first woman, and she died in fertility. She died giving birth. And Izanagi is the god of creation and the first male, and he sent Susanoo with two other gods to the underworld to try and retrieve Izanami, but failed, and he never was able to grab her from the underworld. So this is the monster section. So Oni are like ogres. There's multiple variations of Oni. I'm just naming just the base one. They can wield swords. Some have one eyes. They all have horns. Some have two eyes. Kind of just like an ogre in fantasy, and they are still currently and massively used in Japanese fantasy novels and other stuff of the like. So mermaids. So this one there really wasn't much. They look almost exactly like real mermaids, but some of them really have two heads. Then Tengu, they're bird-like creatures. They're crow/human almost. They look like an abomination, to be honest, in drawings and depictions that I found when looking them up. And Raiju are cat-like, and I use the term elementalist to describe them. That means that some are depicted as setting fields on fire. Some have been used wielding water, lightning, and practically any of the elements. And they can either be used as protectors or evil monsters. So the next one is Kudan. I use the term as Minotaur to describe them because they have a cow-like body with a human-like face. And in Japan and Shintoism, they have dragons, but they aren't depicted as the normal dragons we perceive in the current fantasy genre of medieval times. They are wingless serpent-type creatures with 4 legs. Some have 5 legs, and they have different variations. And in the Japanese, in Shintoism, some gods even turned out to be dragons and other stuff like that. So then Kappa, I use the term evil turtles to describe them. Practically, they are turtle-like creatures, and they live near the shores. So when anyone gets near their territory on the shores, they'll drag you and drown you under the water. So shrines, they number in the hundreds of thousands. They're dedicated to one or many gods. Sort of like Buddhist temples, how they're dedicated to one or many gods. Gods are said to live in the shrines, and shrines are maintained by shrine maids or anything else. They keep the shrine clean, keep it up to date, and make sure it's not falling apart or anything like that. And shrines are not for worship. You can donate in shrines though, but they are mainly used for housing gods or the safekeeping of sacred items. So this is the rituals and belief slide. So Shinto does not have weekly services uh, like Catholic churches or any of our churches, mainly over here, and they they honor kami through celebrations and almost like parade like festivals, and they hold purifications to purify a cursed object or a cursed person, almost like an exorcism. And they have sacred readings of stories of kami and other things of the like. And their core belief is God are in everything. Like uh, gods are in, or sorry, kami are in rocks, the river, and all that. And there are no there are no dogmas, scriptures, or known founder for Shintoism. So the afterlife, which is also my last slide. So they do cremation, and Yomai is the underworld where everyone goes, and they have different rituals depending on your age. So they have a different thing if you're a child, adult, or senior. Like if you die when you're still a child, they'll put your name on a certain temple wall, and they have other rituals for other things. Oh shoot! I know I just said that was my last slide, but I lied. I still have a little bit more. So these are experiences. So first, I'm going to start off with the experience between men and the experience between women. So they don't really view sexuality as anything. They don't frown upon it, or they don't really care about that. There are no really commandments about that or depicting anything like that. But marriage, there's a lot of differences. So in faithfulness, it is often overlooked when a man was unfaithful, but women are expected to be absolutely faithful. And for a long time, women couldn't divorce a man, but men could divorce women. But that has been changed in the last century, I believe. In worship, worship is a little different in Shintoism. You can show your worship by going to a shrine and bowing at the temple gates or other key points, and taking off your shoes when asked to, and showing respect in that way. And so conversions are very, very different. There are no ceremonies for conversions or anything like that. For conversions, you really just start identifying yourself as believing in Shintoism. There really is no thing for conversions like as in Christianity, where we hold a baptism and everything. But in Shintoism, there isn't that. So that's my last slide. This is the end. And I have my links here for when I post this on YouTube. In the description, I will leave a link to my slides so you can view my slides and check out my sources and any of the other. Thank you, and I enjoyed this.